Fuck. All right, double tap, double tap, double tap. Here we go. Now, let's finish off where we started. I apologize to everyone. Whoa, Uso, my man, I appreciate you. To everyone that's sending gifts through, please save it for the battles. I'm gonna battle after this. I don't know, I'm not a battler, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Jane, love yous, I appreciate you guys. We were on 1,400 people watching before, so I apologize to everyone for tuning out quickly. Like, if I didn't listen, then I would have got shut out for 2 weeks. So I listened to the people because people power is where it's at. Now, whoa, let's see. Here we go. We're up to 900 viewers now. Let's pop it off. Let me finish this story off, yeah? Rui, FRM from the 247. Yeah, the boys. I love this. All right, let's go. Let's finish it off. Far out. These numbers are climbing quickly. Boof, Ruthless, Maria P, appreciate you. Anna, Jessica, love yous. Courage 07. All right. So everyone sending through gifts, to everyone that's tapping it up, I love yous, appreciate yous. Let's get to this story, yeah, let's finish it off. So what happened was, what's his name? Ray Martin, yeah? He was sitting in between the chair and the table, so he couldn't move. Now, out of nowhere, this Breville, it comes swinging. And he had his head forward, and when the Breville came, it cracked him, boom. And it just kept going, crack, crack, crack. And then the blades come out, and they were going to town on him. And also another who was throwing heavy hits at him, yeah? And remember, Ray's a tall and big guy, so he would have been able to defend himself. But the Fink boys were smart enough to get him while he was in between the chair and the table, so he couldn't defend himself, yeah? While they were going down on him, the screws all saw it, and they all come running with the gas. Obviously, the same thing that happens all the time. Everyone get on the ground, everyone get on the ground. They were trying to move people out of the way, but it was just chaos. Like, everything was happening. Like, but the guys that were jumping Ray, they were going to town on him. Like, yeah, I can sit here and say that the things buckled when he walked in, but when it came to orders, bro, these guys they did what needed to be done. They went to town on friggin' Ray, yeah. And when I say went to town on him, when the screws all come running in after he had got jumped, Ray, yeah, yeah, Ray stood up, and as he stood up, his ear was hanging. So remember when he got hit with the Breville? The Breville, like, ripped his ear straight off, yeah, and it was hanging, all right? And everybody saw his ear hanging, and it was like, it wasn't only disgusting, but the fact that he got outed by several boys that considered him, that said that they were his brothers. That was the ugliest thing. He was more uglier than his ear hanging down, you know. But yeah, this is exactly what happened to Ray. You know, he had no legs to stand on. Like, he was like he was dazed, obviously, because he had been jumped from behind, and he didn't get just get jumped by one or two guys. You know, like he got outed by a few guys. And the funniest thing is, the other Fink boys, they didn't get involved. They all stepped back to the fence. Obviously, the boys that were heavies, they had privileges that they didn't want to lose. So the younger guys were the ones that took up the orders. Wings, appreciate you. Crichton, love you, sis. So as Ray Martin's ear was hanging, like, everyone was just like focused on that, yeah. But when Ray was standing there, and all the Finks were on the other side now, and the Fink boys that jumped in were handcuffed, yeah. And Ray was standing there, and the squad and the screws came in to stop it. Ray now is able to get out of the table and stand up, all right? And as soon as he stood up, he turned to all the Finks, and then he just went off. And he goes, "You friggin' dogs." He goes, "Fuck, you want to cheap shot me?" And he just, like, went on a rampage and started going off. But the whole time he was going off, his ear was hanging down. Like, he got hard, yeah? And this is the thing. The reason why I bring these stories up, because all of you guys who are getting yourself involved in criminal matters, yous are all thinking that these older boys love ya. Yous are all thinking that your gang will stick by you through thick and thin. But you're not understanding, yeah? As soon as consequences come knocking, or as soon as your crew is pushed to a corner, they're going to turn on you. One by one, each and every one of them will turn on you. You know, look what happened to Ray. You know, he fought. His brotherhood had his back all the way. But they were the ones that turned on him. You know, they ripped his ear off. All right. He had to get taken to Long Bay Hospital to get his ear stitched back on. Like, that's how bad it was. But I give it to him. You know, he got up, he stood his ground, and he went off. You know, like he offered him out. No one stepped up to the plate because you couldn't have fought anyway. There was too many screws there. Even if you tried to attack each other, like, nothing would have happened. Yeah, but he stood his ground. He never got stretchered out. He stood up. But the ugly thing was his own brotherhood turning on him, and also the fact that his ear was pretty much like ripped off, you know. Now, all you gangsters out there, this is what you're going to be looking at if you keep going down the path that you're going, you know. Ray then went on to go to Long Bay prison, and little did Ray know, Bloodline boys were all there, you know. So when Ray got there, he was in segregation, obviously, but he was in segregation with all Bloodline boys that were considered heavy hitters, you know. and when the boys found out that Ray was there, obviously the boys, appreciate you, thank you, bro. Nuclear, when the Bloodline boys found out that Ray was there, obviously they already knew the story that he had got his ear ripped off, you know. And bro, it was the worst time for Ray, because not only did he just get jumped by his own gang, he now ended up at Long Bay prison with guys that he considered enemies, and they killed his life. Like, the Bloodline boys that were there, they were all yelling out to him, "Hey Ray, I can't hear you. I can't hear you." And that was their way of mocking him because of his ear, yeah? And this is what happens, you know, when you're inside prison. It's just like myself, you know. Like, I was not at a prison where my enemies were at, but my enemies were writing my name up on the wall, you know. Peter's a dog. Peter's a piece of crap. Peter's freaking the biggest dog in the system. Peter's this, Peter's that. They ripped my reputations to shreds, my enemies, yeah, all over the walls. I had a friend that I was very close to. He was a Serbian guy named Dusan, yeah, and he used to write me letters, and he used to say to me, "Va, Peter," this is the way he talks, his accent, yeah. He goes, "Why all these young islander boys talk rubbish?" He goes, "Every day they come and they write your name on the wall. Peter dog, Peter this, Peter that." He goes, "I don't give a fuck." He goes, "I am the painter. They write up, I go and I paint over the. Every day they write, every day I paint." This is what I mean. I got loyal boys around me that are different nationalities, you know. I don't care. I actually used to see my name written up on walls inside prisons, obviously because a lot of these youngsters had numbers, yeah, and they used to write rubbish up about me everywhere. And I swear, I used to see it, and I never used to rub it. A lot of boys used to run over, and they'll try to grab a scourer and try to rub their name off, like make sure that they keep their reputation. I never did these, you know. Love your Nuclear. Thank you very much, user. I never did this because to me, I knew who I was, and all my closest knew who I was. And I had done so much work for the islanders inside prison that I wasn't worried. Write my name up and talk rubbish all you want. It is what it is with TRIGGZ, you know. You either love me or you hate me. And so what I'm explaining about Ray, like, you know, he put himself in that situation, and not only did his crew kill his life, when he got to freaking Long Bay, like the Bloodline boys like killed his life, you know, mocking him. You know, not only about joining a gang that turned on him, but they were also mocking him about his ear, you know, yelling out to him, "Hey, we can't hear you," you know. obviously because the bloke almost lost his ear. And yeah, like he knows full well where I'm at with that situation. I didn't want no dramas with him, and he actually sent me messages several times from where he was at Macquarie prison, saying that he wanted to talk, you know, whether he wanted to talk it out or not. Like, my thing is, I don't really care. You know, if someone wants to be my enemy, like, it is what it is. You step on my toes, I'm going to step up to the plate. That's how I am. That's how my brothers are. We don't take a backward step. But if you want to sort it out, I'm more than happy to sit down and sort it out. Like I said, all I wanted was an apology for my sister. It was as simple as that, you know. So if Ray's out there and he's listening to this story, this is the first time I've ever told this story. And like I said, I wasn't trying to put the bloke on show. I actually told the story exactly how it happened, you know. I didn't throw the bloke under the bus by making him look like rubbish. I told it how it was. That's exactly what happened, you know. And the last time I heard from him was one of my Asian mates called me and said that he wanted to chat, but obviously we couldn't chat because we were both in two different prisons. Anyway, that's the story from about Martin that everybody wanted to hear about, because if you guys didn't know, when Ray Martin almost lost his ear, it was like underworld news. Like, every gang heard about it. Everyone wanted to be in the know that weren't gang related. And now you have heard it straight here from TRIGGZ. This is the real story of exactly what happened. And then everyone moved on with their lives. And obviously, like, I've put that stuff aside. It was in my past, and I will never look into that situation again unless he wants to step on my toes. You know, it is what it is with TRIGGZ. I let things go because I'm on the path of change. Now, to everyone out there that's watching, I'm gonna finish this off with this final story, and then after this story, I might do a little battle or two. All right, you want to battle me? Then call through when this story is finished. This story is a big story about a guy named Leo Tran. All right, he was very, very close to the Bloodline boys. And sorry, I'm just laughing at the comments. I love you. I appreciate you for the gifts. Thank you very much, everyone that's hearting me and pumping up the likes. Come on, guys, tap it up, pump these likes up. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. Yeah, Lecky, my man. All right, now let's get to the story about Leo Tran. This is a very, very deep and meaningful story, because Leo was a very dangerous man once upon a time, you know. He's also been on the path of change. He's inside prison, and he's just finishing his 18 years. I'm pretty sure he gets out next year, early next year. But 18 years he served for Erdemay. So this is the story about Leo. When I first met him, he had a good name, he had a good reputation, and he was known as a very dangerous man. He didn't care. Everywhere he went, he carried one of these, yeah. And we were together throughout our 20s, you know, before I ended up in prison for 10 years. And I met him from my brother 212 Heat. Long story short, there was a situation. I'll tell it like this. There was a situation that occurred, and him and his coes and my brother 212 Heat were being harassed by the police because someone had been unalived, Erdemay, and they believed that either my brother Leo or the other coe had something to do with it. Yeah, there was surveillancing my brother hard over it, and all of you who sees things on Google about my brother 212 Heat, this is a different Erdemay, not the one that you guys all see on Google. This is a different one that everybody doesn't know about. Yeah, so long story short, Leo goes in and he gets 18 years in prison, yeah? And when I was coming up in the gang world with him, he was known as a very dangerous man. But there's a story that I really want to tell about him, yeah? This is how loyal Leo was. So Leo was the type, if you're with him, he's with you all the way. Now, a situation occurred where plates of drugs, all right, Sorry to everyone that's calling through. Please don't call through. I'm not going to answer your phone calls. And plates of drugs went missing, and there was 3 plates, and it was wrapped up like this: 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and then it was put in a parcel, and it was supposed to be delivered to Melbourne. So the Triads from Melbourne, they were doing business with a bikie gang here in Sydney, and the middleman was Leo and 2 other boys. Yeah. Long story short, they were supposed to drive the plates of Ugdres to Melbourne. And on the way there, Leo fell asleep. Obviously, Melbourne's a long drive, yeah? And then when they get there, Leo wakes up and the other 2 guys are arguing. And when they're arguing, he's like thinking, what the hell's going on? And then they start talking a bit loud, and he realizes they're talking about the product is missing. And then he gets up and he gets in and amongst the conversation. He's like, what do you mean the product's missing? The product was right here. And they're like, bro, you must have chucked it in the rubbish. And he was like, what? So he was full shock because he was like, wait, what do you mean? They started saying that he must have chucked it in the rubbish because it was wrapped in a black bag, yeah? And then he started going off. He goes, get out of here. Don't try to blame me. This is this, that. Yeah, and the other guys were full, like, putting it on him. One of them was his uncle, and the other one was one of his gang-related mates. Now, this is the reason why I'm telling this story, is because all you younger generation out there and you young adults need to understand that if you live this life, this is what's going to happen. Remember I was telling you about Raymond's story? This is another situation. Look at who turned on him. His uncle and one of his gang-related mates, yeah? Leo was asleep the whole way to Melbourne. And he wakes up during an argument where product was missing, and all of a sudden, these 2 guys start blaming Leo, saying that he must have chucked it in the rubbish. He had no idea what was going on. He's like, what are you talking about? Anyway, the Triads in Melbourne ended up calling them to a meeting, and when they tried to explain the situation, bang, the gang-related boys, the Triads in Melbourne, kidnapped all 3 of them, Leo, the uncle, and the other gang-related guy. So they got kidnapped by the Triads in Melbourne while I was in Sydney with my brother and the bikie gang that was aligned with the Triads. So they were doing business together, yeah, from Melbourne to Sydney. Had nothing to do with my brother and I, like, we were minding our own business, doing our own thing. This was something that they were doing internally. They were the middlemen for the bikie gang and the Triads. So when they got kidnapped from the Triads in Melbourne, a message came down to Sydney to the bikie guy that I was very close with. And the message was, we got these 3 boys, and a guy named Leo said to reach out to you that you can help secure their freedom. And then the bikie guy from my side said, what did they do? He goes, bro, 3 plates are missing, and we want them back. So the bikie guy called us, obviously, because he knows that we're close with Leo. My brother, 212 Heat, and I went and met up with the bikie boss, and the bikie boss started explaining, bro, I think we have to go to war with the Triads. And I was like, why, what happened? Because, bro, they kidnapped Leo and the uncle and his mate. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, they got him up there in Melbourne. And straight away, my brother 212 Heat and I were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go to war with the Triads. It's all good. Let's do what we got to do. We'll call our boys. You call your boys. Let's do it. And then straight away, the bikie guy goes, all right, let me go talk to my guys. We met up the next day. And then the bikie guy explained to me and my brother 212 Heat. He goes, look, he goes, let's hold off on the war. He goes, let me go up there and by myself and talk to this Triad guy because I know him. You know, I'm not close with him, but he's a gentleman. I'm pretty sure he's very understanding, you know. So let me go up there and talk to him and find out like exactly what's wrong, you know. Anyway, my brother 212 Heat and I, we're crazy angry because we want Leo back. Leo's like family to us, you know. And then the bikie boss, he left for Melbourne. Cut us a long story short, we get a message back from the bikie boss, and the bikie boss is like, bro, he goes, I'm coming back with Leo, and I got a big story to tell you guys. Anyway, when we get back, we hug Leo, obviously, like we got him back and that, and then the bikie boss goes on to tell the story, right? He goes, when he gets there, they start explaining the Triads that 3 plates had gone missing, and this incident had happened several times where the middlemen were supposed to pass on either money or product, and things were going missing one by one, you know. And now all of a sudden it's 3 plates, and that's a lot of money. 3 plates, you know. It was like back then it was like around about $300,000. Anyway, when Leo came back, he didn't come back with his uncle or his gang-related mate. So we were asking, hey, what happened to the other 2 boys? He goes, bro, they kept them. I said, what do you mean kept them? Because the Triad boys wouldn't let them go. I said, so wait, tell me the story. Explain to me everything what happened. As soon as you got to Melbourne, explain to me exactly what happened. And then that's when the bikie boss started explaining. Because when he got there, he goes, all 3 boys were tied up. And then he started explaining to the boss, he goes, of the Triads, he goes, come on, man. He goes, you don't need to do this. Like, this can be easily sorted. It's only 300K, you know, like you're acting like it's millions of dollars. And the Triads, they're not about, they don't care about money. Like, they're straight 180, you know, like they'll give you love. And if you F with loyalty, he goes, they don't care about, like, they're going to take you out, you know. So they started saying to the bikie boss, you need to speak to these 3, because these 3 out of these 3, one of them knows where the product is, and we want the product back now, because we're going to bring up all these things that went missing in the past that these 3 idiots didn't realize we were keeping tally of, you know. So the bikie boss walks over and he talks to the 3 boys that are tied up in front of everyone. He's like, boys, what the F's going on? Like, come on, just tell them where the plates are, you know. And then Leo's sitting there quietly. Remember, he's tied up as well. And the other 2 start going on a rampage. The uncle and the brother that's linked to him. And they start carrying on about, so, but we don't know where it is. I promise you, it was in a bag, black bag. He goes, Leo, you were the one sitting at the back. You must have chucked it in the rubbish. Leo sat there quietly during this whole friggin' rant that the uncle and the gang-related friend was going on, yeah? Instead of telling the Triad bosses where the missing product was, they were going on a rant on how Leo must have been the one who chucked it in the rubbish, and that's why it's missing. And they were begging for their lives, and they were also begging the Triad guys to let them go because they can pay for the missing product, but they need time. All right. Now, I told you already, the Triads don't care about money. If you F with loyalty and the love that they've given you, they'll just literally say, all good with the money, stuff that, we're going to take you out. That's how they are, all right? So the bikie boss goes, as the uncle and the bikie and the gang-related friend were going off. Remember, they're tied up, yeah, and they're like, it wasn't us. Straight away, the bikie boss turned to them and goes, oi, shut up, boys, enough. Leo, what the hell? You're just sitting there quietly, bro. Speak up. Freaking speak up. Now, this is the type of person Leo was, yeah? He was tied up and he stood up on his feet. And when he stood up on his feet, he looked at the bikie boss. Remember, we're close, us 3. My brother and I, the bikie boss, and also Leo. He looks at the bikie boss and he whispers to him, tell Peter and Henry, I send my love to them and please look after my family. And then the bikie boss looked at him and goes, what? And then he walked away. So remember these words. That's exactly what he said. Tell Peter and Henry I send my love and please look after my family. Then he walked off. Remember, his uncle and his best mate were like going on friggin' going to town on him, blaming him for everything, yeah? So as soon as Leo walked off, everyone was quiet because he started walking towards the Triad boss, yeah? And as soon as he got to the Triad boss, he looked up at him and he goes, yeah, it was me. Take me out. The bikie boss, the one that we're close with, goes, Leo, what are you doing like that? And then the bikie boss goes, it was you? And he goes, yeah, it was me. And then he turned around to his uncle and his gang-related mate and he goes, you effing dogs, huh? You want to blame me when I was asleep? You want to blame me while I was asleep? All good, boys, all good. And he turns back to the boss and goes, yeah, it was me. I took it. And the boss goes, all right, if you took it, where is it? He goes, I don't know. But kill me. It's all good. I took it. Bro, This is the type of person Leo was, yeah? Definition of gangster, all right? When he said this to the Triad boss, the Triad boss went quiet for a minute and he just stood there looking at Leo. And then he looked at the bikie boss, and then he looked back at Leo, and he said, you can go. And Leo's like, what? And he goes, boys, untie him. They untied Leo, and he goes, go. He goes, you have 3 months to pay me my money back. And then Leo looked at his uncle in there, and then the Triad boss goes, don't look at them. What are you looking at them for? He goes, go out now before I change my mind. So Leo walked out with the bikie boss, came back to Sydney and met up with my brother 212 Heat and I. But his uncle and the gang-related guy never left with him. They got told to stay. Till this day, yeah? Till this day, we still haven't seen the uncle or the gang-related mate. We don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened to them, yeah? But when Leo came back, he got on drugs heavily, and he was in and out of freaking different types of crimes because he was trying to get the money back for the product that went missing, so that he can give it back to the Triad so they can let his uncle and his mate go. So let me tell you about the definition of loyalty, yeah? Leo didn't have to do anything now. The Triads cannot touch him again. He is now in Sydney. This is his area. This is his location. The Triads are based overseas, and they're also based in Melbourne, but they can't touch him in Sydney. Why can't they touch him in Sydney? It's because he has us to have his back, all right? So he's untouchable in Sydney. Now, when he was trying to get his money back, I said to him, I go, bro, what are you doing? Why are you trying to get the money? But stuff them. If they want to come and get you, I said, tell them to come and try. I was like, nah. He goes, also, I want to try to get the money back for them. You know, like, I know they did wrong by me. I swear to you on my mother's life, I didn't take the product. I was asleep the whole way to Melbourne. And he goes, but bro, like, that's my uncle, you know, like, I want to help him get out of it. And I was like, bro, what the hell? This guy is freaking, he's just like me, you know, the Asian version of me. Like, he's so loyal, you know, to a fault, you know. And so I let him do what he's got to do. And during this process of where he was trying to secure money in order to get his uncle and his gang-related mate back, that's when the Erdemay happened. Something occurred. A guy got holes put in him, and he ended up passing away. And now the police started hunting Leo, his co-offender, and my brother, 212 Heat. You know, they were harassing them. No one got arrested at the time. They were just harassing them because apparently camera footage showed them in the vicinity of the area of where the Erdemay happened, all right? My boys and I went to visit Leo one day, and when we knocked on the door, we walked in for about 2 seconds, and then a knock came at the door, and when Leo opened it up, there was about 10 officers like standing outside. And I'm not even exaggerating. It wasn't 2, it wasn't 3, but I swear to you, it was like 10 of them, yeah? They told us, he goes, VAIUSU. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, where's Lai? Lai is one of the other boys, Kevin Lai. And I go, yeah, he's here. And I go, what's wrong? Like, I want all of you to come out. So all of us came out, and we had to line up in front of the police that confronted us, yeah? I said, what are you guys all doing here at Leo's house? And he goes, VAIUSU, you're on parole. Kevin Lai, you're on parole. What are you doing here at Leo's house? And I love you, I appreciate you. And I was like, no, we just came to visit. We just came to eat. And then this is what the cop said to us. Listen, guys, he's under investigation for murder, yeah? He goes, I'm going to tell you this once, and I'm not going to tell you this again. I will breach your paroles, and you will go back to prison if you ever come back to Leo's house again. Because we're telling you right now, see, Leo, he's going to get locked up very, very soon. Okay? And this is the story that this is the thing that the cop used to scare us, and said if we ever come back there, we were going to get arrested and our paroles were going to be breached. And he also said that Leo was going to go in for murder. And guess what? Everything the cop said that day was true. We never went back to the house again, and the cops went hunting for the boys to see if they could secure an arrest. And how the arrest happened was so funny, all right? My brother, 212 Heat, my little cousin Azar, and Leo were all in the house. Now, every cop knows that my brother's very violent and he doesn't care who they are. Like, You know, but my brother's only violent if someone is trying to step on his toes. You know, he's not violent for any reason. When he does things, it's for a reason. So because my brother 212 he was in this house, instead of running in and attacking the boys and arresting them and bringing them out, what they did was the cops lined up outside and then they yelled out on a mic, VAIUSU, Tran. He goes, want you to put your hands up and come outside right now. It's like they actually used the mic to convince my brother and that to come out. And the funniest story is Leo had some drugs in the house that he was like obviously smoking and whatnot. But because the cops didn't come in, they didn't find it. So the whole time they were trying to get Leo and my brother to come out of the house, he was flushing everything down the toilet. He was trying to get rid of it, yeah. But the funniest story out of all of this is my little cousin Azza. From what my brother told me is they realized something was going on because Azza started like yelling out to them, you know, as giving him a green light, giving them a heads up. Cops are here, yeah. And the thing that's funny about this story is Azza never had a criminal record, my little cousin. He's never been involved in anything, never been involved in dramas, yeah? But he was hanging out with my brother 212 Heat. So I don't know what he was doing outside that day. I wasn't there when it happened. I'm just telling you the story that my brother told me. And he goes, when they heard something, he opened up the curtain and looked outside and he said, Azza was hogtied. they not only did they grab his feet, but they grabbed his arms, yeah, and they locked him, the cops, and they held him down, yeah? So both his hands and his freaking feet were locked. And for all of you criminals out there that know the game, you know, you just get handcuffed to your hands, but he had his legs and hands tied. And my brother said when he saw freaking Azza tied up like that, he said, bro, what the hell, like that? That's when they used the mic to try to convince my brother and Leo to come out. Leo was there dumping his UGGs down the toilet and flushing it. And Azza, I'll give it to him, you know, for a young kid who's never been involved in nothing, he still had the balls to yell out to my brother to give him a heads up that the police were there, you know. That's why my brother loves Azza a lot. Anyway, the boys ended up coming out. Both my brother and Leo got arrested. And then when the paddy wagon came, they put Leo in there and they drove off. And then they unhandcuffed my brother and my cousin Azza, and they told them to get out of the area and don't come back. And then that's when my brother realized, like, oh, wow, they weren't coming for us. They were coming for Leo. And then that's when Leo got charged for murder, mate. He got charged for murder and his other co-offender got charged for murder. They ended up, going through trial. And Leo's mate pretty much threw him under the bus with a lot of things that occurred, yeah? And Leo is now serving 18 years, but he's at the end of his 18 years. So this was 18 years ago, this story, yeah? He's at the end of his 18 years. But let me explain something to you. To every single one of you out there that's involved in crime, yeah? Let me explain to you the story about Leo. Guess what? He did 18 years for nothing. He wasn't the one that killed that bloke. 18 years inside prison for something he didn't do. He went to trial and he got found guilty time and time again, yeah? Had no appeal, had no help from no one. You know, the only people that helped him was my brother and I, and also his family. But he did 18 years, yeah? He's finishing off his 18 years, yeah? For a murder that he didn't commit. You know, Leo, he actually knows the person who did it. Obviously, we know who did it as well. And that person threw him under the bus. So it was the other guy, he was the one that did the murder, and he blamed it on Leo. And that was Leo's own mate, all right? So to all you younger generation that's watching my live right now, let's go back on the story. Leo got effed over by his uncle and his gang-related mate. They tried to throw him under the bus. But the Triad, man, he was about honor, loyalty, reliability, sincerity. So when he looked into Leo's eyes, when Leo said, kill me, straight away, the Triad saw straight through him and realized he's actually doesn't care about his life and he's willing to die for something he didn't do. He believed that he was innocent, so he let him walk. Fast forward, Leo was involved in a situation. His mate is the one that did the abbing stay. The guy ended up being unalive. And now this guy turned around and he blamed everything on Leo. So Leo is now serving 18, gets 18 years, and even though he got 18 years, he kept his mouth shut, didn't utter a word again, you know. And the poor bloke didn't even commit the urumei. He's doing 18 years for something he didn't do. You know, that's what I call the definition of a gangster. You know, like he's in there. He's obviously changed his life. He's fully changed his whole life. Yeah, he's gone religious. And when I say religious, I'm talking about Buddhism. Yeah, like he doesn't get involved in gang related stuff. He quit drugs like 10 years ago. Yeah, and when I was with him, he's not the same Leo that knew. The Leo I know had a reputation and was very feared by people, yeah? Now, he's just like a little geek, you know? He's changed his whole life. He just wants to be a good man, and he wants to look after his family upon release, and he gets out, I'm pretty sure, at the beginning of next year. So God bless him and his family, and that's where it's at when I'm telling his story, because to all you younger generation out there that's listening to my live right now, just remember Ray Martin's story of how his boys turned on him. Just remember Leo's story of how his own family and his own boys turned on him. You know, till this day, none of us have ever seen or heard from Leo's uncle or that gang-related friend. You know, and Leo ended up in prison, so obviously he didn't pay that debt back. It's not an issue anymore because that Triad gang is long gone. But there you go. The most closest people to Ray Martin and to Leo are the ones that turned on him. And that's exactly what's going to happen to each and every one of you if you keep living this life. You know, if you're living a legit life and you have people turn on you, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you can get rid of those friends and get new friends, you know. Or even if it's your family members turning on you, you can just get rid of those family members and go live your own life. But if you're living gang-related rubbish, this is what's going to happen to you. 18 years for something you didn't do. And if it's not 18 years, you're going to end up 6 feet deep. You know what I mean? And if it's not 6 feet deep, you're going to end up a crippled in a wheelchair. You know, like, there's several people that this situation has happened to that I can tell. So for all you fools who keep getting on my comments and saying, oh, TRIGGZ, why aren't you coming back on live? Have you ran out of stories? Mate, I got stories that can get for 6 years. All right? Let me tell you that. I have so many stories, it's not funny, but the stories that I'm only willing to tell are the stories that help the younger generation and the young adults. I don't give a damn about telling stories of how gangster someone is. If it helps teach the younger ones not to live this type of life, cool, I'm going to tell that story. But if it's just some story that glorifies gang life, or if it's some story that glorifies this gang-related figure, then yeah, the hell with that. I'm not going to be telling it. Simple as that. All right. So this is where we're at, everyone. I wish you all nothing but the best in life. This is where I'm going to leave it, because those stories there is something that needs to sink into everyone's brains, whether it's the younger generation or the young adults or even the parents. You know, now all of you parents understand what your kids are going through on a daily basis. You know, it's not just about gang-related stuff. It's also about mental health, you know, the things that they have been through that you don't even know about. I appreciate you guys for the gifts. We're going to move on now to some fun. But before I get onto that, I just want to thank each and every one of you out there that has been sending through gifts. I promise you guys, you know, it doesn't go unnoticed. My love and respects to each and every one of you that has been sending through gifts. And also my love and respects to everyone that just been pumping the likes for me. Honestly, without you guys, I wouldn't even have a platform, you know. And also I want to send my big love and respects to everyone that confronts me on the street and comes and shakes my hand, thanking me for what I've been saying on my lives. You know, I don't expect it. I really don't want it. But if you're coming up to me for those reasons, like it's more than welcome. You know, I'm not the type of person that's gonna shy away from what I'm talking about. I'm here for the younger generation and the young adults, and that's it. I really don't care about anything else or anyone else. My love and respects to each and every one of you. This is TRIGGZ. Yeah, the boys. I'm out.